It's the Vanity Nurse, and we're here to talk about things that make you mad as a nurse. OR edition. All right, let's go. Number one is a disorganized unit. I cannot stand it when a unit just doesn't have all the things in place, like protocols and practices and, step-by-step processes, so that when they run into an issue that they know what to do. Instead, it's kind of like figure it out. It's kind of like 51st dates. Every day you wake up, it's the same process over and over again. Everyone's rushing. It's in shambles. It's chaotic. Information is not passed on. Communication is like last minute, if at all, and you're kind of figuring things out as you go. I hate that. Hate it. Okay. Sorry. But I think a lot of things can be foreseen and avoided. And a lot of times, one thing about it is communication is key, especially early on. So if you know a case is going to run late, for example, and a nurse is in charge, she can foresee that it's going to run late. It might run a few minutes after a person's supposed to go home. Before you get to that point, you should be calling that room, talking to that nurse and saying, hey, we're going to run maybe 15 minutes late. Are you willing to stay? Call that person ahead of time so that way they have that in mind, versus not even calling at all, or calling 10 minutes before they're supposed to leave, or when they call you to say, hey, is someone coming to get me, to tell them no one's coming for them. I mean, it's not a bank. We don't run with these official opening and closing hours, but we should be respectful of other people's time. The same way they should expect someone to show up on time is the same way they should expect to relieve them on time. And I just don't think the playing field is always fair. But anyway, with that being said, that's my top thing. My top, if I had to pick of everything that makes me super irate when it comes to being a nurse and being on the floor, is a disorganized unit, because that's going to hurt you as a staff member every single time. All right, let's move on. Number two, and my next least favorite thing, is a rude or snarky surgeon. Now, let me preface that by saying I would like to give a special thank you to all the surgeons who are kind, understanding, patient, and just cool about it. In the OR specifically, you work kind of like hand in hand with them. And so I'm so grateful for those guys that are just fun loving, relaxed, and just understand that we are all here for the same common goal, which is to take care of the patient. Now, big thank you to you guys. With that being said, let's move on, because we have some rude, snarky people. As you guys know, I work in the operating room. Part of the process is once the patient comes back, you have to clean off their skin before you can then cover them up and prepare to do the operation and cut into their skin. So I'm over there cleaning off the patient, and I offered, as a courtesy to a surgeon, I said, would you like me to go get a certain size of something that you'll need ahead of time for you? And as I'm cleaning, he says to me, if I want it, I'll get it myself. Now, was that necessary? It's not given necessary. It was very snarky. You could have just simply said, no, thank you, or yes, or just a no would be perfect for me, because I'm very short and direct. Sometimes I'm very direct. And so I'm like, you could have just said no. And I was so taken aback. I was not prepared. It literally made me want to stop and respond in a negative way. And sometimes they'll do that where you feel almost like you'd like to kind of get down and dirty with them, but it's totally unnecessary. And always remember that their poor behavior is a reflection of them specifically and not of you. As you know, everyone is stressed out in the hospital setting, and just taking care of patients can be difficult. So people have a lot of things running through their mind, and so sometimes that can come across. They can take it out on you. So just have tough skin, stay calm, remember that, they're not worth your license at all, but also that sometimes, a lot of times, it's a reflection of what is going on with them, and it has nothing to do with you. So with that being said, that's my number two. And the reason why is, it would compete really with number one. The reason why I despise it so much is that in the operating room specifically, a surgeon is part of a team of only like 5 people that's present in the room, and they have the ability to create the vibe, or the energy for the room for the entire day. because everyone's together that whole time, the nurse, the tech, anesthesia, and the surgeon. So it can really hurt if, you know, a surgeon is nasty or rude or just comes in mean. It just changes like the whole vibe in the room. So I think for me, that's a very powerful position to have. And you're already a surgeon, so people don't feel comfortable giving pushback or saying anything or standing up for themselves a lot of the time. So I think that's an advantage that they take sometimes. So that's my second least favorite thing. And, you know, again, no one is worth your license. No one is worth, you know, insubordination or being rude or, you know, and sometimes I want to say this last thing. Sometimes some people need a little pushback and then they'll stop. So sometimes you just need to speak up for yourself and in a non, you know, aggressive, non-rude way. And then they know, oh, this nurse, I can't really mess with like that. You know what I mean? So that is also an option as long as you're being professional about it and can speak to it, you know, if you're asked. So keep that in mind. But yeah, can't do them at all. I'm just like, oh, brother. Once I realize that someone's like that, then I'm just like, okay, shuts down, does what I need to do, you know, focuses on the job, minimal communication. That's it. You're out of here. All right. What's my number 3? Number 3. It should have been number 1. It's like, no, all of them are number 1. Number 3 is definitely charge nurse pay. Depending on what facility you're at, it can be, I think, $1, maybe $1.50. I saw in some of the comments, sometimes $2. I think there is a lot to be said about the amount of responsibility, liability, anxiety, and stress, and all the things that come with being a charge nurse. For anyone who doesn't know, a nurse is obviously someone who works in their capacity doing what their responsibilities are in their department. So in the OR, obviously, I'm operating on patients and doing things in that capacity. And, you know, if I was an ICU nurse, I would be taking care of like 3 patients and working with them. Now, the charge nurse is a nurse who is in charge of all the other nurses in her unit. So she's basically the one kind of figuring out where each person goes in terms of like the schedule. She's in charge, or he or she is in charge of just organizing the department, organizing the floor, having things ready. Any changes that come about, anybody who calls out, they manage. When it's time for people to go home, they plan who's going to relieve them, just things like that, specific to the OR, of course. Now, with that being said, it can come with a lot of things. Surgeons are griping. Sometimes they come out angry. They want to speak to you. They want to know why their patient has not come back to the room yet. You know, there's issues with equipment and troubleshooting. You have to run in. You have a phone. And basically everyone on the floor is, you know, you're responsible for answering the phone and just helping put out fires all day long. And that comes with a certain level of stress. So I think it's kind of unreasonable to pay someone $1 more. I think it would even be better, and I know I don't want to sound ungrateful, but I think it would even be better if you were to pay someone, if you're going to pay someone $1 for the amount of work that they're doing, it's just not even worth paying them. Just don't. Make it a volunteer thing where, you know, across the board, all the nurses sort of have to learn how to do the job and be able to make the schedule and organize people and talk to the surgeons and whatever. But it's a special skill because you are one who has been deemed more responsible than the rest of the staff that is capable of doing all of this. I feel like with the liability, responsibility, and the stress that comes with it, you should be compensated a little bit more. But that's just me. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, it's March Madness. So, of course, we're going to keep doing these things. We're going to keep talking about things that make us irate, livid, upset, frustrated as nurses. And, of course, mine is specific to the operating room. But please comment below. Let me know what you guys are getting in your states for charge nursing. Let me know how you guys handle rude or snarky surgeons or doctors or whatever. And let me know what you think about, you know, just overall an organized or disorganized system and how much difference it can make in the life of the staff member or the staff overall. Anyways, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I love talking to you guys. Of course, you know I'm on TikTok and IG as well. But it's a lot of fun because on here I can do long form and tell you guys all of my deep, dark thoughts. But yeah, comment down below and I'll see you next time. Bye.